We are live and recording. So just for having a point of argument here, the other day there was an article in Sweden regarding the Swedish National Pharmacy that had apparently leaked the data, or at least, or not leaked. They didn't leak. They transferred data to Facebook via their web online service feature, which they have. And it was anything between what type of things you purchased or bought or acquired on the web shop. And as you might know, whenever you go to the pharmacy and you want to buy whatever you need, it might be a little bit personal, not for everyone to know and understand what it is. And this had apparently been, according to the article, almost 1 million customers that could potentially have been affected by this, meaning their data, their information regarding their purchases on the online service had gone to Facebook. Why does data to go to Facebook came from online services? Haven't we learned that this is exactly what GDPR is all about?
Yeah, you might think that, but I firmly believe that this was absolutely not intentional, of course.
No.
This was just that you use analytics tools. And when you build an online web store, you use the basic mainstream analytics tools available. And you should be really, really aware that the default of all this, there's a reason why all these tools are offered for free. The people who build them, like Google and Facebook, earn a lot of money by you using their tools, because they earn a lot of money of knowing your personal data. And as you said, this is exactly why GDPR was made in the first place, to do this. But it's really hard if you don't build your own tools for this purpose on the website. It's really, really hard, and you need to be very, very aware on how to configure them, not to leak data. So it's crazy easy to leak data by mistake when you handle this. So that's something people need to be very, very aware of, that the default is share all the data you can with Facebook. And as you can imagine, if I need to buy adult diapers or STD tests, this might be a bit sensitive, right up the alley of special categories. So yes, this is, it would be very interesting to see, because this is really serious, because it's special categories personal data that they've shared with a third party, where we not allowed that. So yeah, a bit. So this is, it's easy to make a mistake in these scenarios. So you need to keep track on this really, really well. You need to follow up this. So this is a good advice for anyone who builds this.
So, so just to have that explained. So these providers, or these services rather, like Google, like Facebook, like any really big analytics type of organization that wants to drag data from various websites, they provide code snippets essentially, which you can just implement into your own web page, essentially, just to get that communication done. And those code snippets, guess what? In those code snippets, there are most probably embedded code which will start to transfer data to various places which you might not even consider to transfer data to. Again, because they want to drag the data from the websites, generate traffic, generate and revenue from ads and whatever it might be. And again, they probably sell it in their return as well to other various companies. This is how they actually make money. So free code, we talk a lot about free services isn't really free. And maybe we should start talking about free code isn't really free either.
No.
And it's a nice shortcut, but it might be very expensive in the end.
Yes. If you're not careful, it might be very, very expensive, terribly expensive. And this is exactly why, if I build a website, if I build an online store of any kind, this is a good advice for anyone out there. If you build and present a web application of any kind, take a serious think, do I actually benefit from this analytics tool? What would I need to do with all the analytics things? Is that my primary focus? How much will I earn extra for this amazing click-through and targeted ads compared to how much do I risk by sending this data away out of my control? That's a serious thing to consider right now. And hopefully they will learn something out of this. But it's a good advice for anyone else. How exactly much do you actually earn on having this analytics on your webpage?
And do you actually need it? Which I can question a lot as well. But okay, so you're a former developer. Why do developers take these code snippets and just implement them? Are they really that lazy?
Yes.
Really?
Short answer, yes. It's convenience. No, but copy paste. And if you don't build a culture where developers need to be aware of this.
Yeah.
We have a basic structure today when we develop stuff that it's someone else's problem. And then you just take the shortcut the fastest way possible. You copy paste. And no, it's not generally either the developer's fault by itself. No. It's the entire IT industry where you overcommit a developer. This is also a rant about the IT industry. When you sell a person for 300% time, because you can never afford to have a consultant without work. So then you overcommit people instead. And sell them 3 times over. But still, this stresses people.
Quality will drop if you do that, for sure.
If you commit people to 3 times their working hours and say it's fine if it's delayed, no, it's not fine. You will disappoint people. By far, you will always disappoint people. And being a state where you always disappoint someone, it's not a popular state. People aren't really happy in that scenario.
No.
People want to make a good work. When people want to produce quality work. Would you want to go to eat in a great restaurant? If you say, we book you for making 3 dishes at the same time you should make 1 really, really good dish. And then you can skip making 2 of them and disappoint those people. Those customers will just be disappointed and will have to wait. But we always commit, so during the low times, you still have something to do. So, would you seriously want to eat that type of dish?
No, of course not.
I bet you that it wouldn't be really, really super quality.
I want my food to taste well, and I want to be properly done, and I want the chef to have time to commit to make the dish to the best of his or her ability.
And how do you do that? You do it by making 1 thing at a time.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, I mean, so in this little event, and it's not a little event, I'm actually quite curious to see where this will pan out, because, again, according to the article at least, potentially 1 million people, Swedish citizens, could have been affected by this, and that's a lot of people. It's actually 10% of Sweden, so we don't have that many people in this country, but it's still a big amount of people. So there will be consequences for this one way or another. But quite frankly, I'm kind of tired to talk about GDPR fines. They're not really exciting anymore. The more exciting bit for me to think and talk about is what Kim is just alluding to, is that why does this occur? Why do we end up in these predicaments? And again, you touched upon it. Yeah. We can blame laziness to some extent, but I also believe that we can blame the rapid pace we need to produce things. Hence, we create a state where we take shortcuts. And when you start to take shortcuts, that's when mistake starts to occur. Or you don't think it through, or you don't test it, or you don't validate what you do. And lo and behold, that frantic pace to produce something quickly so we can charge for it and make money all of a sudden became way more costly than what we actually made ourselves. So this is more. I'm more curious about that. When are we gonna settle down and take a deep breath and realize that it might take 2 to 3 weeks longer, but it will be better quality. And if we get better quality, there's a lot lower risk that we will run into issues later on, rather than this short-term, I want to make money tomorrow attitude.
And believe me that if you do better quality now, the total cost of ownership will go down.
Yes.
Because you will need to fix less bugs, less things in the future.
Less irritation from end customers, less irritations in service, maintenance, whatever it might be.
But of course, there's a reason why take things on down payments, take things on pay tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a really good reason, consume today and pay tomorrow approach to stuff. But this will make you poorer in the long run. Rest assured that you are not a winner if you do things this way.
So quite frankly, I think I would rather blame that approach to producing a service. Again, laziness is part of it, but I also want to stress that the laziness, quote unquote, comes from the stress of producing.
Exactly. Convenience, and you're allowed to take shortcuts just as long as you're fast.
Yes.
That's more the...
Exactly. The rapid pace of production is the main cause for taking shortcuts and making it quick rather than good.
Exactly.
And that's where I would rather see this discussion end up. It's not going to end up there. We know exactly where it's going to end up. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And in the actual article, they mentioned, we will look into our processes and we will look into this. And of course, we apologize for any people who might have been fallen short in any type of an inconvenience and blah, blah, blah. And it's just corporate bullshit excuses. This is going to happen again and again and again until we actually start to look at the process of how we produce our services online today. And again, why do you want to connect your pharmacy service to Facebook? What's the purpose of that at all? Just start in that. Just question that. We are a pharmacy service. What on God's green earth does Facebook or any other analytics tool has to do with our service?
Yeah, but this is also genuinely important here to understand. This is not on the developers to make that decision.
No.
This has to be from the management.
Yes.
So you have to still talk to your developers, interesting yourself in the design of your applications. This is solely on management to understand. And there's no excuse whatsoever to say, that's techie stuff, I don't understand that. No. You have to.
You have to understand it.
You have to understand it. So it's absolutely not on the developers to make these decisions. These risk decisions has to be made by the management.
And they own it as well. So rather have that conversation. I would rather see that, but it's not that we know that's not going to happen. But I would rather see that conversation than a poor excuse for, this will never happen again. We will look into our processes. Well, get what? It's going to happen again. If it just is. It might not be the pharmacy next time. It might be someone else, but it's going to happen again. Time, quality, money. Which one of those three do you want? All of them is always the answer. No, you can only have two of them. So keep that in mind moving forward next time. Until next week. Help your developers. Increase your quality. Then you won't get the fine. Have a great week.